About a year ago, I was introduced to True Niagen, a supplement specifically designed to boost a key cellular resource called NAD. That's short for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. And I was really impressed with the research that showed that increased NAD levels can promote cellular repair, maintain healthy mitochondria, and increase energy throughout the trillions of cells in our body. I've been taking True Niagen ever since, and I am truly persuaded, which is why I'm so excited to welcome them back to the program. Let's get into how True Niagen works. From age 40 to 60, humans can experience a 50% decline in NAD, leaving our cells with a shortage of that incredibly valuable energy resource. Additionally, things like immune stress, poor diet, even alcohol consumption can all deplete our cell NAD levels. Research suggests that increased NAD can support cellular defense against these physiological stressors. True Niagen is designed to boost NAD levels and is backed by clinical research and regulatory approvals. Now, while the research is still evolving, I am truly impressed by the possibilities surrounding NAD and the research behind True Niagen. And I suggest you check out their information for yourself. To learn more about the research, science, and to order your supply of True Niagen supplement, visit drdrew.com/TrueNiagen and use the code DREW at checkout for a special discount on orders of 3 bottles or more. So that's my website, drdrew.com/TRUNIAGEN, and use the code DREW today.
Hey everyone, it's a dose of Dr. Drew.
Jay is asking, Susan, do you really take True Niagen, and do I really take it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So we need to do a sound test because
Testing. Can you hear me okay?
I
And
got an email from a follower who complained about the sound yesterday, and he said try putting an earbud in each ear.
which we're trying.
I have a new computer that I've spent 5 hours setting up today, so I'm hoping it works better than the last time. So how's it sounding?
Let's hear what you guys say. Hey guys. So Jay, to your point, I've been on it for years. Actually, I've been convinced that NAD is an important part of the aging story, and cell senescence and repair and that sort of thing. So that is the only oral agent I know of that really significantly enhances that. NAD infusions are popular in treating drug withdrawal and alcohol withdrawal, that sort of thing. Sounds sucks, they're saying. Except everyone then says it sounds good, like
Okay,
I'm
let me see if I
fluid
can-
bonded.
if this will help. Okay.
How about that? Is that any better?
All right. Well, some people have worse sound coming out of their phones than others, and I don't want to blast it. And then I don't know. It's always so much fun.
Yeah, Chris, I did see where second wave is looking to be less and less likely because, as I said yesterday, we're learning to live with the virus. We're coexisting with it. So rather than it being a big an outbreak that goes away and then comes back again as a second wave, it's staying with us and being adequately suppressed by masks and social distancing and now good therapeutics and whatnot. So I was listening to or reading an epidemiologist, virologist report the other day, a couple of days ago, who was saying, sounds very far away, they're saying, who was saying that I'm wondering if we're just on the computer and not on the earphones. What do you think?
Is that better?
Is that better? Is that any better?
I don't know. Each having our own earbud is a bad idea.
We are on these earpods? Yep, we are. So seems.
What platform was that for? Sound?
Okay, it says I sound good. You sound like you're in the basement, which is to the persons who gave us the earbud recommendations. I have noticed that one earbud usually has a better microphone
Works
than
better.
the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there we go.
I don't want to talk anyways.
Okay, I sound good. You sound far. That's fine. So I was talking about this epidemiologist that was saying that the worst thing would be is if it went away completely, because then it's behaving like an influenza, and influenzas come back with a vengeance in the new season. So Paolo says, Madlib says, who do I turn to when I don't know the answers? Colleagues and subspecialties, different medical journals. I do research. And so, you learn early on in your training in medicine to go to the literature often. And in fact, I was been doing that lately because of the conversation I had yesterday regarding the cytokine storm. I started trying to figure out a better way to explain it to you because it is so complicated unless you know all the different interleukins and cytokines and TNF factors. These are very complicated biologies that interact on themselves. The best I can say is that it just know that it gets loose and starts becoming a feedback loop that goes out of control with the coronavirus. Exactly why that happens, there's a bunch of theories about it. How you go from your adaptive immune response to some sort of what do they call it? They call it sorry, I've lost track of that. But in any event, the adaptive response, which is designed to fend off the virus, which the second response is one the virus causes, which is the part of the cytokine storm. In any event, the endothelium, the lining of the blood vessels, are involved with it, and I've been trying to figure out whether we can know in any kind of specific way what it is about insulin insensitivity, hypertension, hypercholesterolemia that sets this up for the endothelium to be one of the aggravators of the cytokine storm. So I don't have a way to describe it yet. I'm thinking a lot about it. Anybody have any questions? Thank you, Nico. I get it. Okay, thank you for all the feedback on the sound.
I was gonna just.
Erica
stop
Taylor
there.
says, I'm supporting hate. Explain that to me, please, and I will happily unsupport whatever it is you say I'm doing. That would be interesting to know. If I'm inadvertently supporting hate somewhere, that would be interesting. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. And again, I did see where Fauci was talking about the lack of a second.
So you wanted to talk about our experience last night.
Yeah, let me just get through this real quick, see if there's any comments or questions I can respond to here. Do I ever listen to old Loveline episodes? No, I do not. Is it safe to be in a car with somebody from another household? Windows down again, wearing masks. So when can we quit wearing masks? Once we're adequately vaccinated. That's when you can quit wearing masks. Until then, I think masks are going to be absolutely necessary. Last night, as we mentioned yesterday, we went out to dinner, and we were sort of surprised. We went to a kind of a hotel bar, and it was packed. It was not shoulder to shoulder kind of packed, but it was not the distancing we're used to seeing in restaurants, and nobody was wearing a mask except us. And we sort of felt bad. We took our mask off, and then we felt nervous that we'd taken it off with all the crowd. Well, we kept taking it off and putting it on, I noticed.
Well, when we walked in, we wore it all the way in through the front door.
Right.
Do you want me to? No.
I'm asking you.
You just tell.
What happened? Are you able to be heard?
All right, I'll get closer to you.
Okay, because they hear you through my mic?
So we went through the front door, we took it off, we got inside, we realized there were a lot of people there, and we put it back on.
Right. But then we sat down and took it off, which we felt uncomfortable about, and then left the area. Anyway, the point is we were very ambivalent about it.
Then we sat there and we didn't stay for a drink because we felt uncomfortable, and we put it back on and wore it to dinner until we got to the restaurant where everybody had a mask on except for the clients, and all the servers were wearing masks. So it's just very strange. Oh,
they saw you for once. They're very impressed by that. So.
All right, that's it.
Now you're off.
I didn't feel uncomfortable wearing it. I felt better wearing it.
I feel better wearing it too, but normally you sit down at a table and you take it off to drink or eat, and if we had done that, then we were like, it's uncomfortable, let's get out of here.
Well, I also think that I'd rather have it on and feel uncomfortable walking into a group of people that don't have it on than to be the only person without a mask in a room full of people with a mask on.
Andrew is letting us know that New Zealand has a full stadium, sports back with full stadiums, which is interesting. But I think New Zealand is about a 0 right now, is it not, at incidence? And it's an island, and it's a smaller population, obviously. Yeah. So, in any event, I'm just a mask advocate. The 1918 flu was interrupted and probably stopped by the mask wearing. And again, that was an influenza, which is, again, why it had a 2-spike kind of component to it. I think it's really important that we stop making exact analogies between previous infections and this one. Somebody asked if you had previous SARS, could you be immune against this coronavirus? No, you would not be. We have more dead in 2017-18 influenza than we have COVID. Again, the influenza data is getting it's getting stirred up. I don't know quite what to do with that yet, so I'm not on it. I'm seeing 60,000 as a piece of data point that people are using regularly. I just don't know how accurate that is. So we should be forcing vaccine on anyone. As I said yesterday, I want to get into phase 3 trials on the vaccines immediately. I cannot take the vaccine soon enough, even though for sure the efficacy and safety has not been fully established. I've read the science on the Moderna vaccine. It kicks ass. I want to be in the phase 3 trial. I want to be a human subject. And I cannot wait to get that vaccine, because that's when you can start to move around the world normally again, is once you have adequate immune, and that would be a vaccination. So, yeah, they want you to have a separate mic.
Okay. Do you want to test something else now?
Okay, we'll test something.
Okay, here we go.
What are we testing?
We're going to turn the Bluetooth off.
Okay.
And see what happens.
All right. Is that this one or this one?
This one, but
Okay.
maybe that's better.
How does that sound? Is that better than what we had with the Bluetooth, or no? Let us know.
If it's too echoey.
Yes, Gerson, there's no guarantee the vaccine will work, and there's also a chance it can trigger other things, as vaccines do. I will happily take that risk. Happily take that risk. And the phase 2 showed us that it does work. Whether it works on a large scale, they like it better.
Okay.
Whether it works on a large scale is what the phase 3 will show us. There you go. But I'm telling you, of course, there's risk with any medical intervention. There's risk of me not being vaccinated and being out in the world wearing a mask. I would rather take the vaccine than take my chances with the COVID. That's much safer. Read the science yourself. Read the Moderna material. You'll see for yourself how effective it is. This is great biotechnology, and I can't wait to be a participant in that. As somebody who has practiced medicine for 30 years, trust me, medical technologies work. They work. We know what we're dealing with. And yes, can there be untoward effects? Absolutely. Anytime you walk in a medical system, you can have an unintended consequence. But I can't wait to be a part of it. So, and Susan wants to be a part of it too, right?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. Is it legal to intentionally infect yourself? Yeah, it's legal, but I don't know how much you want to do that. Why did I do 180 on the seriousness of COVID? I did not do 180 on the seriousness of COVID. I said, calm yourself. I said, look at what the press is doing to you. We have 60,000 people that die from the flu. So far, this doesn't look worse than the flu. Then when Dr. Fauci said it is worse than the flu, I also said, listen to Fauci, follow the CDC guidelines. I never varied from that opinion. When Fauci said, look, the R naught is worse, the infectivity is worse in risk populations, I immediately adjusted my course when it became clear that that was the case. You got to remember, what I was trying to do was push back the panic that resulted in the close shutdown of our country. Now, I don't quarrel with shutdown, although I thought it was excessive, but it was confusing at the time. Now, as you look back and you see in the duration of that shutdown, tens of thousands of people are in the street on top of each other, and no one's getting infected, or very, very few people are. So what does that tell you about the duration of the shutdown, or the necessity of shutdown? The idea that shutdown is a science was wrong. There's no science for that. It is a theoretical model that was designed by a high school student in 2006, whose father extrapolated to a computer modeling that we now applied for the first time in human history. Masks and distancing, science-wise, seem to work as well as shutdown. But I understand it was a fog of war. We were not clear what was going on. The fatality rate had not yet been fully established. Clearly, I mean, look at the California data. I mean, we never got close to the number of cases that we expected, or overwhelming the hospital system, which was the only intention, was to prevent us from overwhelming our hospital system. Nobody said we were going to prevent deaths. Nobody said we were going to prevent cases. We were going to flatten the curve so the cases are spread out over a longer period of time. So I said, constantly listen to Fauci, and I said, tune your emotions. 500,000 people died from H1N1 10 years ago. You don't even know that happened. That's what I was trying to get people to do, was not panic. So that's not 180 degrees. That is an adjustment. And the extent that I didn't call it precisely correctly, I apologize. If I'm being held to that standard of 100% accuracy at all times, and I missed the mark, I apologize.
You did apologize.
Yeah, I did apologize.
No more apologizing.
What about prostate cancer? Yeah, Brett, I have prostate cancer. I've been had a prostatectomy 9 years ago. Have a grade 6 Gleason scale prostate cancer that was removed some time ago. Very common in men in their 50s and 60s. The operation is now done with a robot. It's very good. If you have questions about prostate cancer, I would refer you to the Prostate Cancer Foundation, where I'm a board member and work regularly with the PCF.org. PCF.org is where you can get all the information. Amy, do not confuse numbers increasing with a second spike. Okay, we're going to have some increase because of the way we're behaving, right? We're going out more. We're not wearing masks perfectly. Thank you, Andrew. Nobody was 100% correct. I mean, if you recall, we were being all kinds of misinformation was flying around. So if other people would like to apologize
Every doctor
for
was getting
it,
slammed.
if other people would like to apologize for not getting it exactly correct.
Dr. Oz even got in trouble.
Of course he did.
I mean, geez, that poor guy. He worked so hard.
So in any event, was I talking about prostate cancer?
PCF.org.
PCF.org is where you can find more information about.
I taped it in. I'm having a little problem with my typing since we have the sound working now, so it's slow.
Oh, are you in on this stream also this time? They can see you? Mm-hmm. How about that?
I know, I'm breaking it
Susan
out.
is much better looking for a Of course. What did you think?
I don't know, I just felt like showing my
I know
nose.
what I was saying. I was talking about the, you've come out from behind the shadows. I was talking about
Should I put my mask on?
I was talking about this spiking. The fact is there's going to be some upticks. There's going to be upticks. And as Dr. Fauci, we interviewed him a couple of days ago. My partner at Fox 11, Alex Michelson, interviewed him. And he was saying, yeah, the upticks could slowly become outbreaks. It could. And that would take a couple of weeks. And you have to watch out for that. And to do that, we have to track people with it and track their contacts, which what we're doing. But what I'm seeing on the data, if you go to 538.com, if you go to COVID Tracking Project, if you go to the University of Washington or even Hopkins, what you will see is, some slight increases, but no increase in hospitalization, no clear trend even, because the increases are followed by a downtick. So it seems to me what's happening is people that are worried about having contracted it I suspect this is happening. I don't have evidence for this yet, but here's my hypothesis. People get out, they're in these big, gigantic crowds, they become concerned that they might have contracted it, so they're getting tested at a higher rate. So we are picking up more people with positivity by virtue of the higher levels of testing. Hi, Tom Cigars, I'm glad you're just glassing out there. So, in any event, it's not a shirt, that's a dress she's wearing. Recommendations for alcohol withdrawal supplements. I'm going to get you that in just a second. There is actually a supplement right now that does have some benefit on withdrawal and on the liver, believe it or not. And it's not all the usual nonsense about milk thistle and all that kind of stuff. Oh shoot, I can't find it right now.
What are you looking for?
That supplement I was telling you about.
Oh, the one you gave me?
Mm-hmm.
He's concerned about my liver.
Oh shoot, I'm sorry, I can't find it. We'll have to, Susan, can you look it up maybe and put it on the screen and find it? Okay,
my
Rim is a
computer's
manager
acting
at a
very
hotel,
strange.
and
First day.
He's wondering if we should not be serving continental breakfast. Yeah, I don't think, I mean, it's an interesting question. I think the general consensus is that sort of a phase are kind of out for the time being. Any special concerns about gyms? I went to a gym yesterday, and I was concerned that I was the only one wearing a mask, although they were very diligent about social distancing and keeping the place, completely washed down with Clorox and this sort of thing. My brain is not working that well this morning. Did Dr. Oz ever have any outcome with his lupus patients and hydroxychloroquine, remdesivir?
Is this the
That is
stuff
still being sorted out. Why isn't COPD as bad as hypertension and diabetes for COVID-19? That's a great question. Obviously, if you have compromised lung function, it gives us less room to work with, so obviously that's not good, but it's not as bad as people with already activated cytokine systems. So people with central obesity, people with insulin resistance, people with antiphospholipid syndrome, their cytokine system is already activated. And I don't have a specific mechanism for you. I'm actually doing a little bit of research, trying to see if I can figure it out. But the system itself is already turned on, and somehow this particular virus just throws it out of control into a storm.
Turn the air conditioning on.
Yes, there's a general protocol to wear a mask even if you can't social distance, but if you can't social distance, the mask may not prevent infection, may just delay the amount of time or extend the amount of time it takes to get the infection. The word on monoclonal antibodies, I have not seen the first results yet. I know they're coming. I'm hearing enthusiasm about them, so I'm guessing that maybe some of the reason the death rate is down is things like monoclonal antibodies are starting to work. Do I think we should fully open the economy? I think we should as much as possible, because people are being pushed into poverty. Our homeless rate is climbing rapidly. The mental health crisis we're getting into is phenomenal. Substance use is way up. I mean, so come on. There are unintended consequences of every intervention, and government officials are not used to thinking about that, and they created tons of unintended consequences through what are called non-pharmacological interventions, meaning the shutdown. And I said it again, I don't take issue with them doing the shutdown. It was confusing. They wanted to prepare for the worst case scenario. I would not have wanted to make that choice. I thought it was excessive. Might have been a good thing. The duration was excessive, and the draconian quality to it was excessive as well. Okay, is type 2 or type 1 worse, Randy? It's insulin resistance. So you can have insulin resistance with type 1, but type 2 is really the one that is about that. Does the potential UV light cleaner item which you spoke of yesterday have a website? I have a phone number, done 9977.
What was that UV light that showed up at our house?
That's a UV light that will clean a whole room. So
Where'd you get that?
From Red Hawk. So that's 866 number 4 Red Hawk, REDHAWK, Red Hawk. So they will have they have the distance thermometers at that phone number, which I also am a big believer in. And I will get a wand soon that you'll be able to use on your Ubers, which I had last night. That would have been ideal. We took an Uber too, and our Uber driver had plastic like saran wrap between the
like a
driving
taxi
cabin
cab.
and the
It was very innovative.
And the passenger cabin. It was very innovative and very good.
I gave him. He says he takes it down between every day, and he has his car washed, and then puts it back up again, so it doesn't have anything on it.
Vicky,
will the virus stick on saran wrap?
Will it get through saran wrap is really the question.
It was pretty cool.
Saran wrap has little holes in it.
He was very cute.
He said delay the virus.
He called himself a Mexican taxi driver.
We wear the mask anyway. Vicky, are you asking is Susan going to get the vaccine first, or am I going to get the vaccine first?
I should get it first.
She's a better specimen, as you see.
Yeah. Come from a long line of,
More suicides than COVID deaths? No, there are not more suicides than COVID deaths. But the opioid crisis, if you combined mental health deaths with substance death, you could get numbers that could rival the COVID for the year. So again, people got to weigh these things out. Isn't there a huge difference between outdoor and indoor transmission rates? Absolutely. We now know that to be true. Fauci pointed out, he quoted a study that I've been quoting for weeks. It was a study in China, which showed out of, I believe they had 1,400 outbreaks, and only one, it's 300 outbreaks, 1,400 people, only one was outdoor. They couldn't find any outdoor transmission. And the average transmission indoor was 3 to 5 people, so the R0 was higher indoor than outdoor. The one outdoor was 1-to-1 transmission.
We had to sit outdoors at dinner last night. It was kind of funny because first they sat us outside with a family, so we got to hear them on their first night out, and then they sat another couple next to us, and they were yelling at each other through the whole dinner.
It was not good. T. Bailey, advice for a parent with a teenager struggling with depression.
It's nice to be around people. Who cares?
I think you might want to think about letting her socialize a little bit, and make sure there's a good child board certified psychiatrist involved in her care. It can be quite serious.
Can you mention tomorrow's show?
Tomorrow we're going to have Alex Berenson back, and then before that, though, I'm speaking to a friend of mine. I think I can count him as a friend, a psychologist who has studied racism his entire career, and he's got a lot of interesting observations, and we're going to try to really break down the part of the racism story that's not being discussed, and to me it's the big part, which is, you know, exactly what the traumatic events were in our past and what's being transmitted forward and acted out today. Let's see. Breen, I am doing mostly meat, but not exclusively. Alex is an interesting follow on Twitter. He's getting a little bit aggressive. When I first found him, I found him because he was talking about the Team Armageddon in the press, and how he wrote a little booklet that's available on Amazon that got censored, and that incensed me, and so we brought him in to talk about that book, and they brought it back because Elon Musk noticed it and started tweeting about it, and lo and behold, suddenly that book was back. And all he did in that book was just discuss the facts of exactly what was reported and what actually happened and what the scientific controversies were as this epidemic unfolded. What is the exact incubation period for COVID-19? Justin is asking. 80% of people, if they're going to be symptomatic, are symptomatic within 7 days. The vast majority within 3 to 5 days. But some people stretch out up to 2 weeks, which is why we have the 2-week quarantines. Statin effect on COVID, I'm not aware of any real issue with that. Yes, Margaret, intergenerational trauma, that is exactly the point. Yes, another view, that is Susan, that is my wife. No, it's just some woman sitting here next to me.
Oh, sorry.
What are you talking about?
Because I just blew the
Why
voice
are you
meter
out
up.
of the picture again?
Oh, you want me to be back? I don't know.
They want you back.
Okay, I'll come back. Hold on, I'm just goofing around.
Should I be worried about daycare for a vector? Yes, I was very worried about that at the beginning because that's where children are really on top of each other. However, the incidence is so very low in that population, and it's not prominently transmitted by children, interestingly. Influenza is the other way around. Influenza is devastating for children and transmitted by children. So.
Don't forget to mention this week's Dr. Drew After Dark.
Yes, I don't know I don't remember what's on.
Long and pointy.
I don't remember what's in this week's After Dark, but
It's
please check
long
it out.
and pointy. I have a little video I
don't-
can show to remind you.
Okay,
Would you like to see
show
that?
But also every Wednesday we're going to have Tyra in here for a while. So
Wait. I can only do one thing at a time.
No, John, that is not my daughter. It's my
Okay,
wife.
here.
Thank you for asking.
Here you go.
I don't hear it.
I know you don't. Having fun with this. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
You're back.
That is Christina and I in the After Dark episode. Oh, they didn't hear it. You're hearing our sound now. Yes. They went to Werther, so I know they heard it.
This. They could read it at least. I don't know.
No, they heard it. It seems like. Well, maybe they just read it.
I'm learning. I set a new computer up today because my screen is cracked on my other computer. So I spent 5 hours setting this up, and I've got a lot of bells and whistles I'm trying to figure out. Nobody cares about the tech stuff, though. Whatever.
Okay. Jennifer, I'm reading that note. I'm not going to repeat it here. It's a little heavy, what you're talking about in terms of your daughter's psychiatric issues. The tinfoil and the straw are very concerning. There's a lot going on here. I trust there's a good psychiatric team involved. You would need a psychiatrist and a psychologist involved in a situation like this, and maybe a drug counselor on top of that. But you need to know, you need to define more what's going on here. There's a lot there.
You want to talk about Tyrus now? We're doing all our shameless plugs, so.
Yeah. My granddad died in a nursing home.
We're going to have Tyrus on Wednesdays, 3:30 p.m., 6:30 Eastern.
And yes,
So,
yes, Holly, that sounds like it could have been COVID, but that's the thing about elderly.
Wait, what was the question?
I don't want to repeat it, but it could have been COVID, an old man dying in a nursing home. That's how old people die. That's just how that's just typically how they go. And so whether it is viral pneumonia or aspiration or COVID pneumonia. It's just sort of how things go. Okay. Asthma is a relative risk with COVID. Does not seem to be a significant risk for COVID. How's everybody feeling? Are we with the world kind of unraveling a bit? Are people feeling positive? Are people feeling nervous, scared? Best all around, I don't know if COVID is getting weaker. There's no actual evidence for that. I would say probably we're hitting kind of a steady state with the transmission and transmissibility in terms of how we're behaving. Though certainly the outdoor demonstrations are going to challenge that.
Well, we'll talk about it more tomorrow.
Meet is,
Right.
We're going to talk more about with Alex.
The psychology of.
Yeah, we'll talk. Well, no, we're talking about psychology of racism tomorrow. I'm just wondering how people are feeling generally. Tom says he's not as depressed as 4 weeks ago.
We'll be taking calls as well. If you have any questions.
Suzanne is scared. I feel like we're losing freedom and turning to a police state.
Could be.
Yeah.
Might happen.
No, that is not good.
We were talking to somebody about traveling internationally, and he said that you have to get a blood test at the.
Yeah, Tanya, let me. You're asking about my credentials. Graduated from Amherst College in 1980, USC Medical School in 1984. Did a residency with SC Hospitals. Did a chief residency. Board certified in internal medicine. Ended up teaching internal medicine at the Keck School of Medicine. Then I ended up running a couple departments in a psychiatric hospital, both their medicine department and their addiction services. Became board certified. So I'm double board certified in addiction and internal medicine, and taught in department of psychiatry for about 10 years. Thank you for asking.
He'd been busy. And he raised triplets too.
Yeah.
Effectively, I think.
I hope so. Okay, so I'm more interested in how people are feeling again. Tanya, I graduated medical school in 1984.
Okay, who's trolling?
And did a residency in internal medicine and board certified in internal medicine. Ran hospital-based programs, including teaching internal medicine, addiction services, and medical services in a psychiatric hospital. Where you get the idea that I'm a psychologist is false, and disavow yourself of that.
They're getting you mixed up with Dr. Phil,
Okay.
who's not even a doctor. It's
uh,
okay. Because you worked at a psych.
So I'm still more interested
Hospital.
in how you're all feeling. Yeah, the 5G. Thanks for that. Feeling stressed, Jay says. Are you able to get back to work? Do most people I know have been laid off? Yeah, that's what I'm interested in. Are you going back to work? Are you going to be able to engage in life again? Is there anything new going on in terms of how you're feeling or feeling better? Anxiety is high. Do I have to return to work tomorrow? Wear a mask.
Yes,
I know.
please.
Just wear a mask.
So
and
we can stay open.
Wash your.
We need to stay
hands.
open. Wear a mask. Because if 6 people get sick at work, they're going to close the place down.
Okay, Amanda, is dating one person safe right now? Well, certainly if you both got tested, sure. And if you both have the same exposure risk, yeah, of course. People have been a little vague about dating and sex because there is no guideline for that.
I want to have sex with Emily on the show.
We're going to have her talk about it a little bit.
She would be a good person.
Yep.
I talked to her this week. She lived right in the middle of the riots, and somebody stole her car.
Oh my God.
She's like, I gotta go get a new car. Somebody stole my car today. She was like, oh well.
Jeremy feels like COVID vanished.
I wonder if it was full of vibrators.
It shouldn't. Hopefully, it won't vanish as a concern. Hopefully, it will mostly vanish as a preoccupation or a source of panic porn in the press. Andrew, you worried about the real numbers of non-COVID deaths from lockdown? Tell me more what you mean by that. Do you mean non-COVID deaths from people that didn't get proper, didn't get cardiac care, didn't get appropriate care for other medical conditions, and didn't get their treatments for their cancers and their planned surgeries and that sort of thing, plus the mental health issue, mental health issue. Why is Kent Tiff texting me?
Kat?
Yeah.
She okay?
I got a guy. Text her that we're streaming right now. So she's asking an involved question.
Okay.
Yes, anxiety is not conducive to sex. How long have we been on this stream? About 40 minutes or so?
I have no idea. I have to look.
No,
35,
certain
yeah.
blood types do not seem to have. How long? 2 o'clock?
35.
35. Certain blood types do not seem to have a significant benefit. That's all rumor that flew around at the beginning of this thing or in the middle of it. B-World, how am I? I'm okay. I'm not, I would call good. I wouldn't call it good. I'm having, I don't know, existential kinds of feelings of difficulty deciding what I want to do going forward. That's what I would say. I need to feel that I'm engaged in helping, doing something meaningful, and I'm feeling like I'm not sure what that is right now. I felt like this thing we do on a regular basis, the stream, is helpful because it helps reduce it fights off the team Armageddon or panic porn, and it helps us all gather as a unit and sort of share ideas and express ourselves and make sense of the data that's actually out there. So that's meaningful, but in terms of what else I want to do, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, and that's not been like me. It makes me feel old, and I would say that's the one general note. And then that leads into kind of existential feelings that are unpleasant. Per Vic, no. Yeah, Flora May, watching the news is a source of extreme discomfort. I've started, Susan's laughing at me because I've been watching this show, what we do in the shadows, to try to get me off of any other screens, just to get a completely.
He's like, come
away.
watch this. Come watch this.
Laugh for a minute. Let's watch something funny.
They're very funny. That's a good show.
Okay.
And I like vampires. I like the idea of vampires.
Jennifer, you're scared about the health of others who put on the back burner. Yeah, that's what Andrew's talking about. Newsom said there's no turning back on the opening. I would agree with that.
Don't yawn.
Nor should there be. Yeah, that Trump rally I'm worried about, JB. It seems like that's going to be indoors, large numbers of people. Oof. Everybody please.
I know. Who's
please wear your
going?
mask.
Anybody here going to that?
Hey, and Stoned Cold Chiller. Hey, I want to get back on Tiger Belly, or have him on my.
Yeah, he should come on our show.
Yeah, so do send the word in for me. I've been trying to get to him. When will it be worth getting another antibody test? That's a very difficult question, and we don't know how to answer that yet because the test is in question.
Yeah.
And its accuracy is way down, and how to interpret it is unclear. A new virus in the Northeast from mosquitoes, they're saying. Mark, that is, we have that every summer. Mosquito-borne encephalitis
Killer
is a very
mosquitoes
common
coming
thing.
now. Is that the latest news? I haven't
And we
looked.
have a sort of Anopheles-style mosquito, which is the one that carries malaria, and that's sort of moving up into the United States, so that's interesting. People in Michigan are wearing their masks. That is good. I watched Dead to Me, Sally, and I love both those actresses. So and we have a strong connection to Laguna Beach, where the show takes place. So yes, we watch that show. We binge on it every time it comes out. How do I let my teenagers out with her friends, knowing they won't social distance? Maybe go with them and make sure it's in places where they can social distance. Sue Lofton, you want to be done with COVID-19? It's not done with us, I'm afraid. That's why it's still around. We have to kind of keep an eye on it. But do your own research on that. Watch the data. I think probably the best source is, the easiest source is 538, but the best source is probably the COVID Tracking Project. And if you go state by state and look at the historical tracking information, you can kind of get a sense of the day-by-day trends and things.
So they're saying that, there's new coronavirus cases and hospitalizations in record numbers. Record numbers, that's what they say. In Florida, Texas, and
yes,
Alabama.
Right. There are in
Arizona,
cases in states that had very low levels. They've had an uptick that has brought them up to
But they say
their
it's
highest
because
levels.
of the Memorial Day weekend,
Right.
possibly.
It's still very low levels of outbreak. Yes, it is at their Let me look up Florida, for instance. All right, let's look at Florida. So
Yeah, but I mean,
Florida-
that should be expected if people go back out. It's just a matter
Yes, that's what I keep saying. So Florida, here's the caseload. That's not up to date enough, so let me get you a better one.
and if the hospitals can handle it, it's not so much of a tragedy.
Correct. That's the whole issue, is can the hospitals handle it?
We had a terrible situation.
Okay, so here's the historical data on Florida. Let me look at it. So, oh, come on. Where'd it go?
Arkansas, North Carolina, Texas, and Utah had a record numbers of patients enter the hospital.
Where? Was Florida?
Arkansas, North Carolina, Texas, and Utah.
Is that the one they're pointing at? Well, let me look at Florida. It's on my screen here.
I
So
know Utah let people
Florida
out
was,
sooner.
Florida's essentially, let's see, going back to July 9th.
But record number compared to what?
That's
How
what
many?
That's what I'm going to give you. So
They
the
had 5
death
people
rate,
and then
the
went to
death
10.
rate has been 100, 30, 60, 60. I mean, it's just 100.
How many
so that's
deaths?
the death rate, like 100 per
okay.
day.
Okay.
It hasn't really. There's no trend
United
on that.
States
This
or
is Florida.
Florida.
And then going number of cases, 1,000, 1,700, 1,900, 1,900. Very few, but they're at their highest level. Yeah, highest level.
Yeah.
But very few. It's not a trend. And what were you saying with North Carolina and Texas?
Yes.
So let's look that up. Let's look
Although
at North
Cuomo's
Carolina.
not let anybody out yet, so
Okay, I gotta find North Carolina. Hold on here. Gives me a second to do this. Wish they would make it an easier way to look this stuff up, but they do not. So,
I love Andrew Cuomo. He's so smart.
Okay, North Carolina historical data. He got a little bit panicky there in the middle. Okay, going back to
I know,
June 9th
but
also. So it was.
He was careful.
They were at 700 cases, 1,000 cases, 1,200 cases. This is North Carolina again. That's roughly 1,200 cases, another 1,200 cases, and then about 1,800 cases. So they've gone up by 600 cases in one day to give them their all-time high. The death rate has remained at 20, 30, 10, 30, 15, 5. Death rate has not changed. So as you see, all-time highs are differentiated by a couple hundred patients. Let's look at Texas.
It says about a third of the new record cases in the state came from Tulsa County. The Tulsa Health Department on Friday said the outbreak was linked to indoor gatherings.
In Texas?
Hospitalizations.
In
And
Texas, but the overall rate is from June 8th to June 9th. Oh no, I'm sorry. They went up 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. They just have 2,000 cases a day, like California, and then all of a sudden maybe 2,500, and then maybe 2,500. So again, the death rate is 20, 0, 20, 30, 50.
So this
20,
is just straight information. It's
20,
not panic
20.
porn. It's just
So again, when they say all-time highs, read the data very carefully. They're not talking about a massive outbreak. They're talking about for a state that has very low levels, they've peaked their all-time high and need to be very careful that they don't head towards any kind of outbreak. So again, this is panic porn, everybody. Be careful. Be careful with that.
well, the way that they say it, but they are facts. You just have to know.
Yes, it's facts, but it's not a headline. It is, yes, they're at all-time high. A state that has been doing remarkably well has suddenly ticked up to an all-time high. They need to get it under control and wear their masks.
Monica Ricci just said that your arms are looking jacked.
Oh, okay.
She texted me.
Thank you, Monica.
She's our super fan.
She's a source of good dietary information.
She was just on the Vinnie Tortorich podcast.
I'm going back up. While I was looking at all that data, I'm trying to see if I missed anything you
Make
guys
them
were
stop
saying.
yelling about numbers.
How do I break insomnia cycle and get off sleep anxiety meds quickly? You need to do that, Rich, with doctor's supervision. You can have seizures doing that. It's quite dangerous. You're going to have to go through some really unpleasant weeks. And there are ways to help you with that with Neurontin and phenobarbital.
Can you tell people where to find that information? Because I can't type on my Restream right now.
What information?
Since I changed the sound, I can't type anything.
What information?
The COVID-19. COVID health.
Oh, COVID tracking project. COVID
it's a new
tracking
one?
project. I watch that one always too. COVID19.healthdata.org is where you can see the graphs, but they're about a week behind there. So if you want up-to-date stuff, it's COVID tracking project. Gen E, so you have antiphospholipid with DVT. Gen E, she's asking about how this group does with metabolic syndrome. I have people with exactly your profile that are young. It's different than people that are old with antiphospholipid. It's obviously a concern because we really don't know what the virus is doing in terms of turning on the cytokine cascade. I have told people I know, young with antiphospholipid, to not get COVID, to be very careful, to consider themselves at risk until we know for sure what's going on there. So yes, I would consider yourself at real risk. I can't prove it, but I'm concerned about that group. Yeah, as of June 11, Orange County declared masks are no longer necessary, OJ Smedzvig, and I'm concerned about that. Even though it's no longer mandatory, I think we have a responsibility to not squander this moment by letting some of these upticks from the demonstrations become a outbreak. Speaking of demonstrations, are people have any feelings about that? Anything that they're wanting to discuss or ask questions about? Again, tomorrow we'll be sort of dedicating ourselves to that. High cholesterol is a risk factor.
Can you tell them what we're doing for people that
High
tuned in?
cholesterol is a risk factor for COVID, but 225, I would not say
Wait,
specifically.
let me find the banner. There it is.
We are going to be speaking to Dr. Adolph Brown tomorrow,
Let me
who's
see
a great psychologist who studied racism his whole career. And then we'll have Alex Berenson back in here to talk about the panic porn and the team
And
Armageddon.
what he's been dealing with
what
this
the latest.
week.
He's been under attack, but he's been fighting back. So
Yeah.
I did not see the undercover nurse video, Jessica. What video was that? Tell us about it. Does Magic Johnson have corona? I don't know that.
Yeah, I think he did.
Did he?
I don't know. I heard something like that.
Yeah.
Some basketball player.
Rain, 31. You should have your cholesterol checked. Yes, you should. Particularly if you have any family history of cardiac disease. If we're going to see an uptake from the demonstrations, do you think we would have seen it by now? Yes. Yes, I would agree, because it's been over 2 weeks, right? And even the most conservative public health officials have been saying 3 weeks. And yeah, it's been over 2 weeks. And we are seeing it. We're seeing a little uptick. We're not seeing outbreaks. Now, what Fauci warned us about yesterday, or when we interviewed him on Friday, was that you might start to see outbreaks that you can't see yet. Remember how the thing kind of came on slow and then it exponentially goes? That's the way these outbreaks occur, so you have to pay attention. This is somebody who wrote a book on it. Yeah, I would not worry about community pools, provided that you can stay distance from people.
I hope everybody's out enjoying their lives. While
It
it's
seems like
open.
people are calmed down. I mean, there was a lot more.
I'm just afraid it's going to close down again if we don't wear a mask and people start getting it.
Passenger shaming, you went to a protest 15 days ago and you're good, which is true. I recommend that people, if they've gone to a protest, 2 days later should get the nasal swab if they can, or get at least the cheek swab, one or the other. Andrew, what is in that undercover video? What did they find out? Someone link him in. Yes, please do link me in, and I'll try to watch it as soon as we finish the stream, or maybe we can put it. Can we put it up? Can we play it here?
Send me the link, and well, I can't really play it here, but so Drew can look at it.
Yes, Lisa. No corn oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, soft oil. The seed oils are making the inflammation worse. I just asked Susan to get us Kate Shanahan back to reinforce all that. She's getting more and more kind of clear on the effect of seed oil and the cytokine storm. It's an expose on how they were treating patients in New York with COVID. Jessica says, what is it? Was there a problem with how they're treating COVID patients, or were there?
Send the link at drdrew.com/contact.
Yeah, it's up here on the screen.
Why is
Hashimoto's,
Tom Cigars yelling "get off"?
I don't know.
Is that to us or somebody else?
I don't know.
This is my show. I'm not getting off.
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
Hashimoto's, no, don't worry about Hashimoto's. Hashimoto's is a nothing. I mean, it's not fun if you can't get your thyroid balanced, but it's a nothing to worry about. It's like having, eczema. I mean, it's that kind of thing. It's the most common cause of hypothyroidism. No peanut oil, that was right too, correct, Susan? No peanut oil?
I don't have the banner on this computer.
You mean that thing we put up?
Yeah, I don't have it. Just go to drkate.com to get all the oils.
Addison's disease is, this is another viewer TV. Addison's disease it depends if it's isolated Addison's. Again, it's shut down to the adrenal glands and the cortisol producing glands. And so you should be taking cortisone if you have Addison's. And so if you're on adequate replacement and you take stress steroids if you were to get sick, Addison's should not have a big impact on this, right? Search undercover Elmhurst Hospital. It will come right up.
Okay, Tom Cigars wasn't saying it to us. It's some your mom's house reference.
I get it.
Sorry, I don't listen to every one of them. So
We are not vegan, quite the contrary.
we are meat eaters.
Yep. Hard to hear us. Lots of mommies here. Hi, mommies. Can I do a segment on inflammatory bowel disease or irritable bowel disease? You said just at IBS. I assume you mean irritable bowel. Maybe we'll do a podcast on that at the Dr. Drew podcast. Not a stream. I'm not sure it's a stream topic. Might be an interesting idea to get a gastroenterologist in. I do something like that though.
We can do it later. A dose. We could do a dose on the medical doctor day.
Yeah, maybe. It's just such a in the weeds kind of topic and I know how we discuss it amongst our peers. It's not scintillating.
Maybe we could do it on After Dark since it has to do with.
Andrew, thank you for that. I got it. Did you look that up? Undercover Elmhurst Hospital.
Oh, is he going to email it to me or
No,
do
you just
tape
look
it?
up. You just look up undercover nurse Elmhurst Hospital. It comes right up. Why don't we do it on this and you can play it?
I can't. No, I'm
Okay.
not gonna. I'm not touching this. It's
Okay.
working.
Okay.
You're gonna blow up my machine and shut everybody out. This is our first day on the new computer. I'm so excited. It's working. Getting good at this, so I have to pat myself on the back.
Josh, I don't know quite what you're saying about being critical of the CDC. I am standing by everything that has been on the CDC website from the beginning. It's an hour long. Oh, great. So we won't watch it. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I can't scroll up. What was the? What did you want?
Here's Ritalin AZ on prednisone for 30 years. Gave you Cushing's, of course, at 30 milligrams. Can't get below 10 because you are Addisonian. So that is rough. There are ways to try to enhance renal function, but boy, it's got to be done with an endocrinologist. It's very difficult stuff. After being suppressed for a certain period of time with prednisone, it's hard to get your adrenals to turn back on again.
Can you tell me what I was going to again? Because I didn't do it fast enough.
Elmhurst Hospital undercover nurse. Why does the CDC not educate public on how to improve the immune system to help prevent? Because there is no measurable way to do that. It might be good to have vitamin D. It might be good to have vitamin C. Zinc might be helpful. And what am I leaving out? Even the true Niagen is shown to be somewhat helpful in some of the data. So these are all things that may be good. For the CDC to take a scientific position on what does prevent it, they can't do that. They take only what is in the science, period.
So there's a YouTube channel.
There's a name for the person
Undercover Nurse.
Okay, her name is OLSZEWSKI.
No, I have it. I have this. I have a bunch of. It's
Okay.
easy to find.
Okay.
New York undercover nurse confirms COVID-19 criminal hoax. Could happen.
Say that again.
New York undercover nurse confirms COVID-19 criminal hoax. Do you want me
based
to?
on what? What is she saying?
Do you want me to bring it up? Like I'm looking at all the videos, but
Well, it's an hour-long.
let's see if they have somebody wrote it out. Hold on. Here's Skyshore Publishing. Fraud, negligence, and greed left to unnecessary deaths. So she is a nurse turned journalist, and she might be interesting to interview, right?
Let's do it. Let's get her. Let's see what she's got to say.
Could happen. Ventilators are likely to be the leading cause of death in the pandemic. People who are negative are being put on ventilators because they're COVID confirmed.
Say that again? They're not being put on ventilators?
They don't have it, and they're being put on ventilators, isolating their family and the patients, and who do not resuscitate orders, treating as they did have that.
So we'll look at all that.
Sounds horrifying.
Somebody asked what N-acetylcysteine
New York
may be good. Again, that's all, the jury's out on that still.
I've been in a lot of hospitals.
I mean, the hydroxychloroquine looks like it's good in preventing. People are using it for prevention a lot, and there was a study that showed it had maybe a slight benefit. Somebody asked, what is an outbreak? An outbreak is any unusual epidemiology, any unusual presence. I don't know what the numbers make an outbreak necessarily. I just looked up the CDC definition. They don't give you a specific number.
When I see something like this, it just makes me think that medical doctors are not as well trained as we think they are.
No, I would disagree. What it should tell you is we are at the whim of the administration and the public health system. And what we believe, we have no power as doctors to represent our patients, do anything. We are just told what to do. And that's the unfortunate disaster that has become the medical system.
But maybe when they had the health corps, they just brought in young people that they knew wouldn't die from the virus, and they just aren't as well trained, and they take orders like you wouldn't.
I don't know. The Lancet debacle, I did comment on that for a few days.
I know these kids
I'm tired of talking about that, frankly. But again, that was what was the name of that organization? It was just a bogus epidemiology group called Sphergale or something. It was ridiculous. They had like 5 employees in the entire operation. One was an adult model, and the other was a science fiction writer. And that was the study that was quoted around the world that literally stopped hydroxychloroquine research, legitimate research, which was just sad. Ugh.
It works in some cases. Not all.
Rain, you may be smarter, but you have not had the training and experience. Do not mistake information that you can research, the experience of seeing things thousands of times in a clinical setting. Experiential learning is different. It's like the difference between knowing how to ride a bike and reading about riding a bike. They are very different things. They were placing non-COVID patients with positive patients in the same room.
Yeah,
Why?
New York
To
was terrible.
get more cases, so they get more reimbursement. Oh man, I hope that wasn't happening. Woo. Yeah, so let me just, I was sort of jumping around a little bit, but let me just say, so what can you do on your own to reduce your risk of not just COVID, but the complications of COVID? So, vitamin D, talk to your doctor, 500 to 1,000 units. Vitamin C, 1,000 milligrams. Perhaps the True Niagen. Zinc, possibly 50 milligrams, but that can mess with your copper metabolism, so talk to your doctor. No seed oils. Yeah, this is what Kate Shanahan teaches us. No seed oils. Weight loss, blood pressure control. Turns out being on an ARB or an ACE inhibitor is beneficial. So if you have hypertension, you may want to talk to your doctor about switching to one of those medicines. It changes the way that the ACE2 receptor is regulated. So there you go. Let's see what this Stride Cipher. Joe Rogan mentioned a good point about our leaders never bringing to light how important it is to take care of your health, preventative-wise. Yep, I agree. But please don't burden doctors with that, the practicing doctors, because we are too busy trying to save lives all day. For instance, the guy that did my prostate surgery, I don't want him doing anything except that surgery 24/7. By the time I got to him, he had done 1,100. That's all I wanted him to do. I didn't want him to talk to me about diet or prevention or follow-up. You want us doing our expertise in these extremely complicated situations where we learn a skill that will help us in these life and death circumstances and save lives.
And you want to know what their success rate is.
If it's a surgeon.
Because we changed doctors.
I would not have, Jana would not
Thanks
have
to
an
me.
adolescent take True Niagen. No, I don't think I would do that.
Okay, I found this.
Adolescents are still they are not in the senescent phase and reparative phase of aging. Get vitamin D, Kelly, from the sun. You get conversion of vitamin D to 125 dihydroxy vitamin D in the sun. But I will tell you, getting your vitamin D levels up is more than just the sun. I've been working with patients for years trying to get their vitamin D levels up. It's not that easy. And I live in Southern California. Seed oil, flaxseed, I think she said, was on the intermediate zone. Can I comment on whether we should change clothes and shower after shopping? I don't do that personally. Again, the transmission on objects, on surfaces, appears to be nominal. But if you want to do that, that's fine. 120 over 85 is not a risk factor, Mike. Can too much hydroxychloroquine cause resistance? You mean like when an antibiotic does? Interesting question. I know of no evidence that that happens. It's a really interesting question.
So I got the link from.
Why is it hard to get out of vitamin D deficiency? Because vitamin D metabolism is, Natalie, more complicated than you know. I have many patients that take 5,000, 10,000 units of vitamin D every day, still can't get their levels up. We have to give them 50,000 unit prescribed doses once or twice a week. There's lots of things that interfere with our gut absorption of D, our metabolism of D, our conversion of D, and it's as we age, it gets to be more complicated physiology. So now a young person should have adequate vitamin D and not be worrying about it. But as you get older, if you have chronic medical conditions, it does tend to be.
I sent you the link.
Okay, for the video.
It was a hospital in the epicenter in Queens, and she saw a lot of wrongdoing.
Okay, Ron, that is true what you said about seed oils, except for avocado and olive. Correct, we agree with you. And tallow, and animal fat is fine too.
Yes. Olive oil. And there's certain other oils. Go to drkate.com.
Cindy, what are you talking about vitamin D hurting? Vitamin D is an oral medicine. I'm not quite sure somebody gave you an intramuscular vitamin D?
Ouch.
Yeah. Hyperinsulinemia, inflammation, and cytokine cascade. All right. I tried to do that the other day. I tried to do it yesterday. I'm just about to wrap up, so that's a giant topic, except to say that high insulin levels affect oxidation of fats, and oxidized fats are what cause the trouble in the lining of the arteries. And lining in the arteries and the interrelationship between the endothelium, the lining of the arteries, and the circulating immune cells are involved in the cytokine cascade and the cytokine storm. So let's just say that, for instance, adipose, this is an inflammatory organ having adipose here. It might be doing that by causing insulin resistance and then causing the inflammation in the endothelium. So we don't really know for sure all the details on this. But I would say that if you have weight here or you have insulin resistance for any reason, pay attention to that in your diet. Pay attention, because that really does cause problems over time. Okay, let's kind of wrap this thing up. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for producing this.
Let's mention what's coming up again.
All right, tomorrow I'm going to be speaking with Alex Berenson again, talking about the Team Armageddon. I will also have a psychologist by the name of Adolph Brown in here, who is an expert in the psychology of racism. He's been studying it his whole career. Very nice man, and we're going to get into this with him. Wednesday, we have Tyrus joining us every Wednesday for the moment. What's that? What are you looking at? Oh, don't forget the Adam and Dr. Drew show. You can get it at drdrew.com. Hang on a second. I'm still trying to find that supplement for you guys.
Yeah, find the supplement.
And then don't forget After Dark. We've already mentioned that.
Yeah, Adam and Drew, 5 days a week. Or how many days a week now?
4 days a week. You get the Adam and Drew.
Okay.
Okay, and now I can't find anything for you guys. Don't have it. Sorry, I can't come up with it. I don't know why I'm farting on this in my brain. Alcohol, liver. But
You've had a lot of stuff going on, and also Drew does a local television show, Fox LA, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. And you can also watch it at foxla.com/live.
Appreciate that.
We're just trying to remind everybody where to go when you don't get it here, because I can't work every day. So
But are we going to be in here tomorrow? Do we have an approximate time?
Monday we're in it. It's 3 p.m.
And we will take
3 to 5-ish.
we'll take phone calls tomorrow too.
Yes, we will.
Gosh, why can't I find this?
You want to see another video with Christina P?
All right, why not? Let's see if I can come up with this.
I don't know if we'll be able to hear it,
All
but
right,
I'll play
I
it.
gave it to Bert Kreischer also.
Okay. Okay, I was
Sorry about
dancing
that.
around. I wanted to say I'm doing all my promos today. Sorry about that.
She's so happy.
I have no idea why the sound turned off. See, there's always a little something, a little glitch that just boop, it does a weird thing. But, you know.
Daryl wants to know if testosterone replacement therapy reduced risk. Appears not. In fact, testosterone blocking agents, one of the cofactors in the virus getting into cells is an androgen sensitive receptor that patients getting prostate cancer treatment actually have a benefit from. So there's actually active research going on with that. And yes, they're pointing out that when you play the video, that's when the sound goes off every time. So.
Oh, they couldn't hear the...
They heard the video, but then our sound
Oh,
didn't,
because
so.
I turned my sound off so you couldn't hear him talking over it.
Maybe.
And then it just stayed that. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, we'll wrap this thing up. We'll see you tomorrow about 3 o'clock. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the good questions. And Tom's Cigars, I've been actively ignoring your question. I think you're quite aware of that. So.
Oh, why?
Oh, here it is.
They're
Susan.
goofing around.
I know.
That's well, we played Christina's video. We have to expect that they're going to react to it. We love your mom's house fans on YouTube. So, but he, you know.
I'm just not sure the environment for it. Thank you guys. Have a good day. It seems like everyone's in some better mood right now. Hopefully we stay that way. And
make sure you help our sponsors. Go to drdrew.com/True Niagen, and you get a discount with the code DREW.
oh, wait, I might have found it.
Okay, and he's
Hold on.
going to sell something that's not our sponsor, but
I'm not finding it.
I threw the bottle away thinking that you would.
I know.
There's a lot of different ones.
No, this one is particularly good because it's some decent science.
Okay,
behind
we'll
it.
research that.
It may or may not really
Get
work,
back
but it's
to
got some
you.
decent stuff behind it.
Maybe we can get him to be our sponsor.
That would be good.
If anybody has any links?
All right, you guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.